guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lena. I'm a practical nutritionist. If you're new here, thanks for being here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. So today we're taking things super easy and I'm just going to eat lunch with you. This is for my people who just never feel full. I know what it feels like. I've been there before where I felt like my appetite was just endless, and no matter what I ate or how much I ate or how frequently I ate, I could still eat. I know how frustrating that can be, especially if you're maneuvering having a healthier relationship with food, trying to build food freedom, and if you're trying to hit goals that might include weight loss or weight maintenance. So what I'm planning on doing is making lunch with you, sitting down with you and eating, and that's pretty much it, while I explain my techniques that finally helped me feel a feeling of fullness and satisfaction at the end of a normal human-sized meal. That being said, just a quick little disclaimer. Remember that everybody's normal is different and does differ just depending on the contents of your entire day. Remember that this is lunch. The only other meal I've had so far today is breakfast, and my hunger levels are going to be influenced by everything from my genetics to my movement to what I ate yesterday, how much I ate yesterday, what I had for breakfast today, etc. So try not to compare your portion sizes to me, but listen more closely and grab the tools of why I'm eating, how I'm preparing my plate, all of that stuff instead. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope so. We're gonna go into the kitchen. I'm gonna make lunch with you. Don't mind my lighting because it's not great in the kitchen. So the first step to building a balanced brunch that I can actually feel satisfied by the end of is just surveying my area, my kitchen basically, and deciding what it is that I actually want to eat. So I'm pretty hungry right now and I think I just want something really quick. So I'm either gonna make a sandwich or make eggs, or maybe make an egg sandwich. That sounds really good. I'm gonna do that. I made focaccia yesterday from scratch. It's basically just bread. It's not healthy or anything like that, but it is amazing. And what I would have done in the past possibly is made something like this and then just given it away or not eating it myself. But I'm gonna make the egg sandwich out of this today, and it definitely provides satisfaction to my meal. If you are having trouble feeling satisfied at the end of the meal, you feel physically full but not satisfied, dive into your food rules, your food freedom, and see if there's something that you could balance in like this that increases satisfaction so that you're not searching for something else to satisfy you at the end of the meal. I have to add in this trigger warning. I do eat and talk at the same time during this video. So basically, I speak with my mouth full. I don't know what I was thinking. I'll be better next time, and I'm so sorry. Well, I know with 100% certainty that this is gonna taste really good, but I'm so sorry that it looks like this. I really wasn't planning to be so chaotic with this meal. I thought it would be much cuter, but I just had ill planning, I guess. Now I'm doing this video because I work with clients who struggle with appetite, right? They just feel like they are always hungry. They can't really feel their fullness, and that's a problem. And it's not fun to feel extremely full at the end of never feeling satisfied. Like there's these massive extremes, right? So we just keep eating and eating and eating until we're like, oh my God, what did I just, I'm so full. And how come that first serving didn't do it for me? And I needed a second and a third, and I didn't realize that I was good until my fourth and my stomach hurt. I get that. I had been there. For me, I think it was a real result of overtraining. I was working out a lot and I was lifting a lot. For me, that really just brings my appetite up super high. So I think it was a result of training a lot, but also just not eating enough to satisfy that training level, not being mindful. I really truly didn't know what fullness felt like until it was too late. So I think that's a really big driver of why that was happening. And then of course, restriction, overeating. So these are the tools and the techniques that I put into place. So number one that you're not going to see in this video today because you're just eating lunch with me is I did pull back on my training. I still lift once a week-ish, not nearly as heavy as I used to. And then I do Pilates otherwise. So I'll lift like full body once a week. I'll do Pilates at home a couple days a week, maybe like 3 days to 4. And then I'll walk every single day. So every single day I get movement in. Every now and then I'll take a class at the gym, but that's not regular enough for me to say that that's part of my routine. So I pulled back on weightlifting and cardio a ton to help me manage my appetite. Now, it's not to say that I'm not going to bring that back to a higher level one day. I think we all go through phases in our lives. But in order for me to manage my appetite, get more in tune with what I wanted and needed, I needed to pull back on my training a little bit. So number 2 is water. Okay, so going into my meal, I'm gonna drink some water. And that's just gonna help me feel calmer, settle my hunger a little bit, give my body what it needs. It probably wants to be hydrated. So that's super important. Now we'll sit down together at the table and go eat. Okay, so first, before we really talk about the food, I want you to kind of reflect on your own life, okay? What are you doing when you're eating that might pull you out of tune or less mindful around your food? So for me, when I'm scrolling on my phone or watching TV, I'm definitely less mindful. Like I find myself, if I finish my plate and I'm still watching something, I'll find myself look for a snack or something else just to kind of fill my time while I'm watching TV, or I truly just won't feel fullness. I'll feel like I'm still hungry because I was watching the show, I wasn't really paying attention to my food. So dial into you. That might be the same case for you, it might be something different, but I do find that when we're scrolling on our phones, watching a YouTube video or watching TV, it can pull us from our mindfulness on like just feeling full, right? All right, number 2 is we're not putting enough on our plate from the get-go. I noticed this one a lot. So I have 2 small pieces of focaccia. I sliced them in half. I divided 2 eggs with half a cup of cottage cheese. Okay, so there's 2 eggs and half a cup of cottage cheese. So that's bringing my protein up to 24 grams of protein. And there's some goat cheese on this for extra satisfaction. There's a little bit of protein in there too. So that's bringing that probably up more to like 28 grams of protein. So there's enough food here. I'm getting lots of protein, I'm getting healthy fats. I got some spinach, but I added some cucumbers and corn on the side as well. And then I got carbs. So I'm making sure that I have a well-rounded plate with color, carbs, protein, healthy fats. The one thing I could probably have more of on this plate is fiber. So I definitely could have used like a real high fiber bread instead of using the focaccia I made out of white flour, but that's okay. That was just kind of what I wanted today. Now I'm gonna eat. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chew my food thoroughly every single time. What happens when you chew your food while you're eating, you have no other distractions. You're not watching TV, you're not scrolling on your phone, is you get super bored of chewing. You're not eating out of pleasure anymore or stimulation anymore or anything like that. You get bored of it when you're chewing and you're not doing anything else, which is crazy because I don't get bored of eating, okay? I'm not one of those people, but now I am sometimes if I'm being really intentional. I'm not perfect, right? I definitely will still pull up a YouTube video or TV. This is super helpful for me when I'm recording because it makes me be very intentional. But sometimes I'll like start my meal, not doing anything on my phone, and then we're all addicted to our phone, so we pull it up eventually and we go. But I'm gonna look at my food and I'm gonna admire it because I literally love food. And this is so beautiful. And this focaccia is so good. It's the first time I've ever made bread and I'm obsessed. I actually have another one in the oven right now. So I'm really admiring my food. First, I love it actually, but that helps, right? We eat with our eyes. That little bite that I just had in my mouth right now, even those little bites, I'm really making sure that I'm chewing thoroughly and that I'm not swallowing anything whole. Also paying attention to that flavor, amazing. I never want to pay for a sandwich again. This is so good. When you make your food taste good, when it's food you genuinely enjoy, it's just a different world. And this can still be healthy and weight loss friendly. It's all about the portion of, your mind matters. Your mind to body connection is actually unreal and it matters. That enjoyment around food goes a really long way. And the way that the goat cheese melts because it's hot with the eggs are hot, the way it melts into the eggs with like this creamy, like soft cottage cheese. If you haven't tried cottage cheese in your eggs yet, we're not always gonna have the privilege of being this mindful during a meal. Sometimes a meal's gonna happen in the car. Sometimes it's gonna happen in front of the TV. Sometimes it's going to happen when your kids are screaming and yelling at you and you're eating their scraps. It's gonna happen while you're working. Sometimes it happens socially. For me, it's pretty tough to be mindful when I'm social. I'll eat something and then I'll be like, oh, that was good. I didn't really taste it. I'll go have more. Oh, that was good. I still was distracted. I'll go have more. So that's something that for me to be more intentional on. Sometimes it is going to be harder than others, but the trick is keeping some tools, some mindful tools. You might be a little distracted, but can you thoroughly chew your food? Can you drink water before the meal? Can you still taste it, right? You might be a little distracted, but can you still enjoy those flavors? What you can also start to do is you can start to understand your portion sizes. Like, let's say today I eat this fully distraction free. I'm super in tune with my hunger and fullness, and I know that this was a perfect amount of food to make me feel full. So I stop right here, okay? I stop when my plate is over. Next time that I eat, I can go ahead and match that portion size. And then if I'm not fully mindful, I can at least be like, last time that kept me pretty full. Today's day is very similar to the last. I trust that I'm good, right? I wasn't super in tune, I wasn't super mindful, but I trust that I'm good and I can move on. Here's an example of chewing getting boring. So I'm coming up at like
this really thick part of bread. There's not much cheese or like creaminess in this on this side. It's a lot of bread, right? It's a lot of chewing. This is a good example of like, I don't think I would have felt this had I been very distracted. I just would have kept going, right? The bread is great, it's full of flavor, but it's losing some of its like, whoa, because I'm bored. I drop this piece for now. I'll come back to it if I'm still hungry at the end of the meal. And I'm gonna move on to the creamy side of my other sandwich. Like for someone like me that really thought that I was an endless pit and had a massive appetite, like massive, the fact that I'm feeling full right now is a miracle to my old self. Like I would have never thought. If I was alone completely, I would typically eat with distraction because I was alone. So I wanted noise, but I would also just like feel like there was no judgment on me to like eat until I was satisfied. So I would just like continue to eat till I felt satisfied, which was a lot. And then I would feel so bad for eating that much that I would eat more. You know, the corn I really only put on my plate because my mom made it. She made a lot. And I feel bad to not eat any. Also, I feel like sometimes that's the practical part of stuff. If your mom made food for you, you eat the food she made for you. Don't be rude. Obviously, I'm joking, you don't need to eat all of it, but if you can fit some on your plate, why not? So my father-in-law watches these videos, I think, and it feels super awkward to just be eating in front of the camera knowing he's watching. Yes, this is what I post on the internet, okay? It helps people. Okay, I'm surprising myself a lot because I'm actually feeling pretty full. I'm surprising myself because I don't always eat without zero distraction anymore. I just try to be more thoughtful and mindful while I'm eating with a little bit of distraction. But as I eat now with like literally not one distraction at all, I'm like, wow, that's pretty valuable. Like this is pretty crazy. I can finish any plate given to me. I feel really good. To top this off, we're gonna drink some water. At the end of your meal, this normally makes me feel like, if I remember to drink my water at the end of the meal, like over the top, like, okay, I'm full now. 100%, no doubt. The corn and the cucumbers to another bowl. I'll just throw that into like a salad for dinner. And then this last piece of bread, normally I would eat because it's just like, what, 2 more bites? But I'm gonna throw it today because I'm gonna try to change that behavior. I'm full, genuinely, and it's not worth it putting me over the edge, so. Am I uncomfortable doing that? Yes, a little bit, but change happens in discomfort, doesn't it? So you'll see that firsthand. Let's recap this. There's a couple things we can't ignore that I changed over the last few years to have a better grip on my appetite. And a big one that I cannot ignore is my movement levels changing. Lifting and pulling back on that severely changed how hungry I was all the time, right? So that's a big one. The second one is far less restriction of carbs. So while I was eating a lot because I would end up overeating like every single day, or maybe I'm exaggerating, several times a week, eating more carbs in a more well-balanced plate, right? I thought that veggies were enough of a carb for me at my plate, but eating a more well-balanced plate with a serious serving of carbohydrates really helped. And by that I mean starchy carbs, just to be clear. So like your grains, bread, fruit, versus your non-starchy veggies like spinach, carrots, cucumbers, right? That really helped me feel more satisfaction. So you'll notice the focaccia is really, like, obviously the protein portion there really helped me, but the focaccia really helped me feel that like fullness and that satisfaction in my stomach. Protein is going to help me stay full, and those like the cheese and the fat and plenty of olive oil that the focaccia is cooked in, that's going to help me stay full. But I think what helped me feel full in that moment and satisfied in that moment is that bread, right? 2 things that we can't ignore are your movement levels and then the amount of food. Movement, carbs, and protein, right? And healthy fats is going to help extend that fullness for a period of time. Obviously, volume of food can help too. So increasing the volume of veggies that you have. Today's a bad example of that for me because I barely ate my veggies. The third one though, really that goes a very long way, is minimizing that distraction. The moment that I'm distracted, like even when I said I'm going to go put my food away now, I opened Instagram, and even in that moment I had another bite of bread. Distraction goes such a long way when we are eating. It's unreal. Like I said, I do eat with a little bit of distraction these days, and I just try to keep my mindful tools at hand.
But even today, eating with zero distraction, I felt full sooner than I normally do. So it's just something that you have to try and something that I'm going to do more of. It's like really realizing that in real time with you guys is kind of crazy. Pretty cool. I think it's actually pretty amazing because your body knows what it's doing. It's just not if it's not in tune with your head. And then of course, water. So drinking some water before and some water after. And that's not to suppress your appetite by any means, but to get in tune with how your body is feeling. To help settle you, like if you're going into a meal very, very hungry, drinking some water can help settle your stomach and let you use the logical side of your brain a little bit more, because you're not in this like I'm ravenous primal side of your brain that just wants to like scarf down food. You get to settle that side of your brain a little bit more, go into the meal feeling a little bit more level-headed. I think that's all I got for you guys today. I hope that was helpful. I really wish I had something like this when I was going through my journey, and that's really why I work with clients today, is because I wish I had someone like me to talk to when I was going through it, right? So if you are at all interested in one-on-one coaching, working more on building healthy habits that last a lifetime, throwing the dieting out the window, and looking to build food freedom while hitting your health goals, because you can have both, right? I'm going to leave a link in the description box below to apply to one-on-one coaching. It's a free consultation in that application. You don't have to click it. If this video was helpful enough for you, just give it a thumbs up and comment. Let's make this a discussion always, right? I don't really love talking at you guys, but I like talking with you guys. So leave me a comment. Let's open up this discussion. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a video. You can hit that little bell too, if you really want to. But other than that, have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye.